Plaintiff Martha Lacey and her son Ulysses say Ulysses is friends with the defendant's son. And one day the defendant's son gave Ulysses a ride home in a stolen car. Martha claims the defendant's son crashed the car and Ulysses needed 10 stitches, so Martha's suing for the medical bills. Defendants Odessa Bryce and her son James admit that James took his friend's car without permission, but they insist Ulysses knew about it. Although Odessa feels bad about the situation, she refuses to pay for the medical bills.
Tell me what happened.
Your Honor, my son Ulysses Lacey and James Bryce are friends. They have been friends for a long time. On December the 20th, 2010, James stole a vehicle. My son was not aware that James had taken the keys to a friend's car. James drove the car recklessly.
How you know he wasn't aware?
Because later on we found out that my son was not aware.
How? How did you find that out?
How did I find out? Because my son told me.
Oh.
Later on we found...
He's an angel, so you believe everything you say.
No.
Angel hangs out with a thug, but you believe it. Go ahead.
No. I know that he doesn't tell the truth all the time, but it was proof.
Oh, what was the proof?
The proof was that James actually admitted in court that he did steal the car.
Good enough.
So that was my proof.
Okay. Where did the medical bills come in?
The medical bills come in from the hospital. He received 10 stitches in his head because his head hit the dashboard when they hit the pole that James was driving the car.
How old were they?
16.
You hadn't been to driver's training yet?
Yes, I have.
You had? And still hit a pole? You know, I shouldn't even make light of you stealing the car. If you admit it in court, that means you did. And I certainly don't want to make light of the injury you had, but my goodness.
His head hit the dashboard when they hit the pole that James was driving the car.
You hadn't been to driver's training yet?
Yes, I have.
You had? And still hit a pole?
Plaintiff Martha Lacey and her son Ulysses are suing because the defendant's son gave Ulysses a ride home in a stolen vehicle and crashed the car, which resulted in Ulysses getting 10 stitches.
You have the medical bills?
You sure can.
What do you have to say? State your name.
Ulysses Lacey.
What do you have to say? Tell me what happened.
We were playing basketball at the Hudson Campbell, the fitness center, and me, James, and Eli was ready to go. So I went downstairs to get my things, came back up, and James was coming down the stairs saying that he was gonna take me home. Eli said he can take me home. So we were driving, and when he turned, like the back of the car swerved out, and then he hit the pole.
Okay. Who was Eli?
The owner of the car.
The three of you were in the gym together?
Right.
You all left before Eli? Mm-hmm. What was Eli doing?
He was upstairs getting his things, and I went downstairs to grab mine.
So essentially you're suggesting that he took Eli's keys?
Right.
Go ahead, young man. She's suing you guys, saying that you stole the car and he knew nothing about it, and therefore you should be the one who was totally liable. Ma'am or sir, who wants to speak first?
First of all, Your Honor, on the day of the accident, December the 20th of 2010, I had just arrived at work when my son called me and told me that he had been in a car accident and that Ulysses' head had got busted in the accident and that the ambulance was there and the police. So I told James, I said, James, let me talk to the police. When I spoke to the police officer, he explained to me what James had said to him regarding what happened and that Ulysses was in the ambulance. I told him, I said, sir, may I please speak to Ulysses' mother? And he said, okay. The police officer took the phone over to her and I spoke to her. I said, ma'am, I am very sorry about this. And I said, please know if there's anything that I can do for you, please let me know. But you know,
she's letting you know today.
Right, but never.
Well, you let her know earlier than the day, didn't you?
I sure did. I let her know the day that
you said, this is what you can do for me, pay these bills.
Yes, but never did I agree to pay any doctor
anything
bills.
I can do for you.
That's true, but not to the tune of $2,280.
All right, go ahead.
Okay.
So what happened after that? What did you come to find out?
What I came to find out was that when I spoke with James and got the truth from him, James did tell me pretty much what Ulysses said. He said we had went to the Hudson Campbell and they were leaving. He said I was carrying Ulysses to his house to get a change of clothes because we were going to the mall. So I too thinking like, well, how you go take somebody else's car and leave them behind?
Yeah.
And so, you know, then my attitude was, well, Ulysses knew where he was going.
Let me hear from you, sir. Go ahead. You tell me what happened.
We was at the Hudson Campbell Fitness Center playing basketball. And the plan was after we left the Hudson Campbell to go to the mall. So then me and him walked upstairs and I got the keys. And then we went to the car.
Did Eli give you permission?
No, sir.
Oh, so you took his car without permission?
I asked him where the keys were.
I said, did you take his car without permission?
Yes, sir.
Good enough. And why don't you think your mother should have to pay the bills? Did he know? Was he part of the game?
Well, he knew what we were going to do.
He knew you all were taking the car without permission?
Yes, sir.
Were you all prosecuted?
I was.
Why? Because you were the only one driving. They would get him otherwise, however, as an accomplice and perhaps a co-conspirator or an accessory after the fact. So why wasn't he charged? Do you know?
I don't know.
All right. And what happened? You pled guilty, you say?
Yes.
All right. And what type of sentence did you receive?
I had to do community service and I'm still on probation now.
All right. What are you doing in school?
I'm getting good grades right now.
All right. And when are you scheduled to graduate?
June of 2012.
What are you going to do after you finish next summer?
I planned on going to the National Guard, but I can't because of the felony I have now.
Okay. You didn't get the type of conviction that will allow it to come off your record?
They had called me, the National Guard called me and we talked about it and they said I got to get it downgraded to a misdemeanor.
Or get it off your record altogether. And that's what I'm saying. In many instances, young people who get a conviction, they allow it to be removed from their record after they have successful probation.
Expunged?
Yes.
I talked to the National Guard and they said even if I did get it expunged, they still wouldn't accept me.
That shouldn't be the case. Expungement is just for that purpose, so that you'll be eligible for things that anyone else would. So I'm not sure if that's true or not. Perhaps yeah, that makes sense. They rejected me. But it was right after my conviction. But thank God they did. I went to college instead of going to the Army. College let me in. The Army rejected me. And the state bar did the same thing with me. They withheld my license after they found out it was expunged, and that's why I had to take them to the state Supreme Court, and they granted me my license. So you have to fight that.
Yeah, please know if there's anything that I can do for you, please let me know. But, you know.
She's letting you know today.
Right, but never.
Well, you let her know earlier than today, didn't you?
I sure did. I let her know the day that
you said, this is what you can do for me, pay these bills.
Plaintiff Martha Lacey and her son Ulysses are suing because the defendant's son gave Ulysses a ride home in a stolen vehicle and crashed the car, which resulted in Ulysses getting 10 stitches.
You say you shouldn't have to pay because?
Because first off, I never agreed to pay any medical bills because I did not have all the
Your
facts
Honor,
straight
on the date
yet.
in question, when I talked to her on her son's phone, and she was being very apologetic about what had happened. And I said to her, Ms. Bryce, I do not have insurance. So are you going to be responsible for the medical bills? And she specifically told me,
okay,
no problem. As soon as you get the bills, just forward them to me. I said, okay.
Ma'am, I'm going to hold you liable. First of all, in your state, an intentional act committed by your minor son, you can be held liable for it civilly. And in this case, it was an intentional act by his own admission. And so I'm going to hold you liable. Had your son implicated him, that wouldn't be the case. But your son took the case all to himself. He's a stand-up guy. I mean, in terms of the street lingo. Well, that being the situation, let him keep taking it. Don't funk out now, keep standing up. Cost your mother $3,000 to stand up. I'll take the case. I'm not going to snitch. He didn't tell on him, so he admitted guilt by himself. He said, I'm the only one guilty. So now he's got to keep saying the same thing. He didn't do anything. I'm the one that did it all. And in your state, you're liable for the intentional act of your minor child that causes damage to others. So $3,178 is what you cost your mother. Judgment for the plaintiff. Have a good day.
I think that they're going to remain good friends. I know Ulysses from the club, and I have nothing negative against him at all.
See you at school tomorrow.
I'm glad this is over.